Ah yes, the Mimic. One of the most important, if not the most important boss in Grim Forest at the minute, until we finish farming for the new mythical champion. The Mimic is the only champion in this roguelike game mode that actually gives fragments for the new mythical champion that have been added to Raid Shadow Legends with
What are you looking at?
the addition of the Grim Forest game mode. This mythical champion can only be unlocked by getting 100 fragments from the Grim Forest, and the fragments can only be found in the hard mode version of the game mode. So in this video I want to show you how to beat the Mimic easily, and I also want to tell you that why you should never skip the Mimic, because this boss is one of the most important bosses in this game mode, as I already mentioned, just for the single fact that you can farm for those fragments to get yourself a new free mythical champion. And this is how you get that mythical champion. Look at this, we've got ourselves 2 fragments, and you can get about up to 20 fragments per season. That means we might get this mythical champion in like 5 months if we're lucky enough, and if we kill all the mimics in the hard mode of Grim Forest. So let me run you through my team and how I beat every mimic in hard mode. As you can see here, let me move my camera, there you go, you can see that's hard mode. Let me put my camera back. So I'm going to show you my team, my builds, and what exactly you need in order for you to beat the Mimic easily. Because the Mimic is super easy to build, as long as you have enough damage, you can actually skip the Mimic's kit just by having enough damage. But before we jump into the video, guys, join our latest giveaway to get yourself a chance to win the Forge Pass for Season 32 and get this amazing Slayer set. Because now we have a bunch of new champions with the Assassin's Creed collab, and they're all damage dealers, so this Slayer set is gonna help you a lot. So drop a comment below in any of our videos to get yourself locked into the giveaway. Meaningless comments like "hey, I'm here for the Slayer set" will not count for this, so be sure to put some effort into it. Also, if you download the game with the link in my bio, you'll get yourself a bunch of free legendaries and a bunch of epics, including Madame Series, Mordecai, Rector Drath, and Uugo. Go ahead and check that bio for more details. Alright, back at the video. But look at what we draw here. We actually draw exactly what we needed. First of all, this is the squad I have selected for hard mode. There's a few champions that are key for Grim Forest. In general, champions that block damage, that have heal reduction, that have strip buffs, the buff stripping abilities, and they also that can cleanse your champions. And if you look at this screen here now, and that's gonna be our free login champion, Anaxia Goldwing. So this Mimic heals a lot, which is quite scary. If you don't have heal reduction or enough damage, it's pretty hard to beat it. But you can also be patient and try to beat the Mimics further down into the season when you have more stats from your trait cards. You can get a bunch of accuracy, a bunch of attack, a bunch of resistance, and all that good stuff. But here we're gonna use Anaxia as our main drive to kill the Mimic. So here are the best debuffs against the Mimic. And the most important, as I already mentioned, should be the heal reduction, right? Because the Mimic heals a lot and you don't really want the Mimic to heal.
Roger that.
So as soon as you have a heal reduction added to the team, you should stop the Mimic from healing. All it's left then obviously is to kill the Mimic. Another thing worth mentioning here is that the Mimic will take one of your champions away from you, and you will fight the entire boss fight in 4-man. The Mimic will kinda like spawn a mini Mimic, and the mini Mimic will eat one of your champions. And you can select which champion you want to get rid of.
Wait a minute!
The Mimic will kinda like spawn a mini Mimic. The Mimic, or better said, the mini Mimic.
What the hell is going on?
The Mimic, or better said, the mini Mimic is gonna eat the most or the highest crit damage champion you have in your team. So say for example, you want to get rid of one particular champion, just give it the most crit damage throughout all your champions, and the mini Mimic is gonna eat that champion, and you can easily defeat the Mimic using the rest. So let's gear up for the Mimic fight here. Alright, let's see what we can put on Nekmotar. We need a bunch of accuracy and speed, so we have more turns. Equip that, and let's jump into it.
Finally, inner peace.
Alrighty, this is one of my favorite bosses so far. I love the soundtrack of the music in this boss fight, and I also like the Mimic's sounds, the literal sounds that the Mimic makes. Very reminiscent of older games, older turn-based RPGs. So yeah, let's do this. One other thing worth mentioning.
No! God, please, no!
In any Grim Forest bosses, you should bring at least 1 or 2 champions that have Brimstone. As you can see here, the mini-mimic took away Leonardo, because Leonardo was the highest crit damage in the team. So as I said, with the Brimstone. Look at that, we already applied Brimstone on the Mimic. So whenever the Mimic is going to use any of its skills, it's going to get hit with Brimstone. I was scrolling through the passive looking for this. Also, you can reduce the turn meter of the Mimic, but only by 50% of its actual reduction. So this is also pretty cool. If you have a speed decrease and some champions that reduce turn meter, you can slow the Mimic down quite a bit. But then again, that would be counterintuitive with your Brimstone, because the Brimstone is going to deal a bunch of damage. Say you don't have enough damage, but you do have a champion that has a high star Brimstone, like 5 stars, 4 stars, and you can apply Brimstone. So look at that, Brimstone hit a bunch of damage. So you can apply as many Brimstones as possible, right? Anyway, let's get through this. As you can see, we have already applied heal reductions, so whenever the Mimic is going to act, there's not going to be any healing at all whatsoever. So all we have to do now is just go through the fight and finish the Mimic here. Leminici was free. So if you have been playing Raid for quite a few weeks now, or months, because she's been free maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah, time flies. That's when we got her, so probably you have her too. If you don't have Leminici, bring in any champion that has a heal reduction, literally. That's everything you need. If you don't have that, just be patient and come back fighting the Mimic around when you're higher level in Grim Forest, right? When you're like level 25 or 26, just around the end of the season, because you're gonna have higher stats from those trait cards. You're gonna have like 500 resistance, 400 accuracy, and a bunch of attack freely achieved just by getting Curios and these trait cards leveling up. There's not gonna be any healing at all whatsoever. Alright boys, see, we didn't really apply heal reduction here, so the Mimic healed quite a bit. But the thing is that my Leminici does not have 100% chance of applying this, because I didn't really book her. I'm only using her the way she is. I don't really have enough books to throw onto all my champions that I brought in into Grim Forest. But anyway, that 75% chance is enough. We're just gonna be a bit more patient because we just missed that heal reduction. So yeah, we work with what we have. We work with what we have, boys. Alrighty, fast forward 4 minutes into the future, because obviously I'm not gonna hold you just to see me spam my skills. We're just about to finish the Mimic now, and I want to show you the rewards, because yeah, they're very juicy, especially the rewards in hard. Especially that this is the video about, right? About how to get the new mythical champion. And that's exactly what we're gonna get at the end of this. Obviously, we're not gonna get the entire mythical champion. We're not gonna get one mythical champion after defeating the Mimic. That would be too nice of Plarium to give us that. But we're gonna get fragments, and we got ourselves 2 fragments for Anaxia, the Reborn. You need 100 fragments, and as I mentioned, you need about 5 months if you're lucky enough to get 20 fragments per season. If not, maybe 6 months if you're unlucky. Let's say if you manage to clear all the Mimics. But yeah, very cool looking mythical champion, and at some point we're gonna get it for free. So we're gonna have to wait and see and test the champion and see how strong it is. And again, look at that, this is what I was mentioning previously. The trait cards and leveling them, and how many stats you can get by this. Look at that, I could get crit damage, 10% crit damage, 5% crit rate. Then again with the Curios, you can get a bunch of stars from the Curios too. So if you can't really beat any of the bosses, not just the Mimic, any of the bosses in general in the Grim Forest, just come back later whenever you're leveled up, your trait cards a bit more and your progression level is higher. And with that being said, that's how you beat the Mimic. And yeah, the Mimic is one of my favorite bosses so far in Grim Forest, just because of the fact that we can get a mythical champion by farming enough Grim Forest. Alright boys, I'm gonna go ahead and finish some of these boss fights here and get myself a few more rewards. I really need some really fast Mercurial sets for my 9-piece sets that I'm trying to build. Mercurial set is super strong, especially on a support champion. Hopefully I'm gonna get some good speed. Okay, let's see what's in here. Okay, not too bad. Hopefully I'm gonna get some good speed rolls this season. If you do have your 9P set already, let me know how much fun you're having, because man, that set is amazing in PvP. Against bosses can go through it, so it's not gonna be so fun. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish some of these boss fights, and I'll see you later. I was Raid Ninja. Bye bye. Go ahead and download Raid with the link below if you want to get yourself 2 free legendaries and 3 S tier epics. This is one of the best starter pack in the entire world right now.